The word now to describe all that is epigenetics, the death of the genetic theory of disease transmission. Well, this is me, kind of getting back at those guys at Emory University and Yerkes Primary Center. This is one of my little rhesus monkeys that had cystic fibrosis in 1977. Now, what is epigenetics? Well, epigenetics shows you very clearly that to maximize your genetic potential for longevity and for health, fending off disease, speed and strength and intelligence, you need to give your genes, your DNA, your RNA, and your telomeres, little end caps on the chromosomes, everything they need to maximize your genetic potential. Give you an example. Let's say grandma lived to be 108, granddaddy lived to be 102, and they were hellions. I mean, they drank and they smoked and they did everything bad. I mean, at night they did IV drugs. I mean, they were just really whooping it up. Every bad thing you can think of, they did. They never slept, they just partied. And they lived to be 102 and 108. You said, man, I've got good genes. Look what Grandma and Grandpa did. Look at they lived to be 102, 108. And you tried doing what they did, you died 42 of a heart attack. Well, see, unknowingly, they did something good too. You did all the bad stuff. You didn't do the good stuff they accidentally did. They were protected by doing something accidentally that they didn't know what it was. That's epigenetics. Another example would be if you had a Lamborghini car that has a capacity for the engine to go 300,000 miles before you need a tune-up. But to do that, you got to change the oil every 1,000 miles. You got to use a particular grade of oil. Let's say you're a Scotsman. You don't want to spend that kind of money and change the oil every 1,000 miles. Say, I'm going to put 6 quarts of Texas dirt in that car instead of 6 quarts of oil every 1,000 miles. There's bound to be some oil in that Texas dirt. Everybody knows a lot of oil in there, so bound to be some oil in there. I just put Texas dirt in there. It's the equivalent of, I'll just eat well, I'll get everything I need. You think that car is going to go 300,000 miles with 6 quarts of dirt in there? No, it's not going to go the distance you'd get out of 1 tank of gasoline. That's epigenetics. Okay, here we go. Time magazine, December 2008. The sorry state of American health. Now wait a minute, we're spending more money for health care than all the 204 nations in the United Nations combined each year. How can our health be getting worse? We're spending all this money. The sorry state of American health. Despite advances, technological advances in medicine, Americans are less healthy than we used to be. In the next generation, our kids are going to be worse off. Raise your hand if you've heard that our kids are not going to live as long as us. We're the first generation of Americans that our kids will not live as long as us. Okay, that's about 50% of it. Well, that's what experts are saying. If you don't change what you're doing, that prediction will come true. And many of you will be standing at graveside burying your children. Some of you, at the age you are, you've probably already buried some of your kids. It's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse unless you change what you're doing. I'll give you a couple of examples here. Historically, strokes caused by blood clots and ruptured aneurysms in the brain occurred primarily, when you look at a bell-shaped curve, was in people in their late 50s, 60s, and 70s. That's when they occurred. Well, now, the bell-shaped curve shows that people under the age of 18 and as young as 6 months old are dying of blood clot type of strokes. Now, how can that be? It didn't happen when we were kids. Well, that's one of my 8 fights against the FDA. And I prove very clearly that strokes are not caused by cholesterol, high cholesterol. Strokes are not caused by bad genes. Strokes don't just happen. Strokes, blood clot type of strokes, are caused by a deficiency of omega-3 essential fatty acids, or a ratio problem between omega-3, 6s, and 9s. How many of you are giving 1,000 milligrams of omega-3s per 50 pounds of body weight to your kids and grandkids every day? Raise your hand. Well, look at that. Nobody. Bam! They're dead. Now, where did you get your, as a kid, where did you get your omega-3s? From egg yolks. You can't give egg yolk to your kid because there's cholesterol in there. You're beginning to get the picture. Why that age shifted from 50, 60, 70 for strokes to 2-year-olds. And there's bleeding type of strokes. That's caused by a deficiency of a single mineral. couple more here. What is the